What thoughts or feelings are evoked when thinking about films and movies? Your first date,
Be my guest.
I gotta know what a $5.
family night,
But too many storms have come and gone, leaving a trace of not what God given me. Is it because my life in 10 shades of gray? I pray all 10 fade away, seldom pray. You gonna do a superhero
your
landing? Wait
superhero
for it.
fantasy,
Woo! Superhero landing.
Yeah, that's really hard on your knees.
Totally impractical. They all do it.
entertainment,
How much for the Cheetos and water?
escape, or joy and sadness.
Oh, Riley loved that one. And now it's gone. Goodbye, friendship. Hello, loneliness.
Movies have become a pivotal part of entertainment today, so much so that there are now schools, conventions, and streaming services dedicated to them. And who would have thought it all started with a man, a string, and a horse? But before we get there, let's go back a bit. Well, not that far back. In the 1500s, Leonardo da Vinci created the camera obscura, a box with one hole with external light passing through. The only problem was that the images came out inverted. In the late 1800s, after a few experiments, Da Vinci's experiment was now corrected with a mirror, which made the images right side up. Here we have the phenakistoscope and the zoetrope. In 1877, author and inventor Edward Muybridge pioneered his work on animal locomotion, a motion study series which he set up to 40 still cameras whose shutters were released by trip wires to document the movements of animals and human beings. His most famous works are Of a Galloping Horse and A Study of Human Form featuring two young women. By the 1930s, with the help of phonofilm, invented by Lee De Forest, people were now able to enjoy film with sound. It was also a way to help distract them from the crash on Wall Street and the onset of the Great Depression.
Count Dracula.
I'll stop a car and I won't use my thumb.
What are you going to do?
It's a system all my own.
Thanks to the inventions of Technicolor and Kodachrome, the 1930s were the first to supply film with color.
He's different.
That's right. That's right. I'm cute, too.
So long, farewell, I'll be to saying adieu.
Adieu, adieu, to you and you and you.
So long.
Special effects take a huge role on films. Back before computers, special effects were done completely different. For example, let us focus on the Star Wars series, mainly the oldest film, Star Wars A New Hope, that was released in 1977, and one of the newest Star Wars films, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, that came out in 2005. The scene in A New Hope, where Obi-Wan Kenobi is pulling the power from the tractor beam to free the Millennium Falcon, is an example of an entire hand-built set. There were no computers to generate anything. It was all a complete optical illusion. Everything in that room was completely physical and real. Now, comparing that to the scene in Revenge of the Sith, where Darth Vader, or Anakin Skywalker, is fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Mustafar system was all shot in a massive blue room, also known as a blue screen, while the background and foreground was generated on a computer, no hand building required. So what would they do is shoot the actors, generate the foreground and background separately on a computer, and then integrate the two shots together to make one wholesome shot. Now that sounds easy, and it is, but very time consuming. For instance, in 1 second of film, there are 24 frames. When filmmakers make special effects on a computer, they have to render the footage one frame at a time. To render footage on a computer means telling the computer, hey, this is what we want, and make sure it will work. In the movie Transformers, it took 36 hours to render one frame of footage. Back in the 1990s, when the movie Toy Story was made, the entire film took 6 years to render. In the older films, such as the scene from Star Wars Return of the Jedi and Jabba the Hutt's palace, set was made and built just for that one scene. All of the different aliens in the scene were handmade suits for the actors to wear, or puppets to operate while the scenes were rolling. Jabba himself, being as big as he was a three-piece suit that had 3 people inside, all working in unison to make Jabba seem as lifelike as possible. In the modern movies, you can see on computers to tone everything up or down as needed instead of having to drag lights everywhere. Also, animatronics is a great way of putting special effects into a film. And what animatronics are robots to move accordingly to gears and remotes, to act natural and act like a real being in the shot. In older films, they were used a lot, and in the modern movies, they are still used fairly often. In the film The Thing, the monsters were all robots, minus the rubber skin fitted over it. Jurassic Park is another great example of use of animatronics. All the headshots of the raptors were robots covered in rubber skin and detailed with makeup, and also the whole Tyrannosaurus Rex was a complete machine. Also, another older film that used animatronics was Jaws, that the 25-foot great white shark was a complete robot controlled by a remote. Special effects are used in other ways as well. For instance, in Peter Travers' review of 2004's top 25 DVDs, states that George Lucas, the writer-director of all of the Star Wars films, spruced up the old movies by redefining the film's special effects and tweaking some of the dialogue in the movies to allow them to flow better with the prequels. Using what George Lucas did with the older films, special effects are not always putting on a spectacular light show. With old movies like the original Star Wars films, you can improve the picture by making the colors more colorful and making the picture more clear. When DVD was founded in 1995 by Toshiba and Warner Brothers, that format allowed a lot of old school movies to be remastered and re-released with better quality picture and sound. George Lucas took advantage of this and decided to remaster the old films and make them not seem so out of date. For example, in the 6th Star Wars films, if one has the remastered version of the film, instead of seeing the ghost of the original Anakin Skywalker, played by Sebastian Shaw, Lucas decided to replace him with the modern Anakin Skywalker, played by Hayden Christensen, using replacement special effects. Special effects have a wide variety of uses in films, as we have discussed now.
Now we're talking business. Let's talk business.
Film industry is one of the largest business in the world. As we always say, arts has no limits and borders. Also, as a citizen of the world, let's shed the light on other film movie markets. If we have Hollywood in the United States, there are also similar markets in the globe. For example, China, India, Turkey, Nigeria, Hong Kong, Pakistan, Indonesia, and Egypt. According to Theatrical Market Statistics report of 2014, we can witness genuinely the volume of film industry and how much it's generating of dollars in our economy. For instance, China, Japan, and the United States are the largest by box office, while India and Nigeria in Africa, including the United States, are the largest number of film production. As a glaring example, if the United States has Hollywood, India also has Bollywood. Nowadays, film industry is revolutionary, even in the conservative societies such as Egypt, Indonesia, Pakistan. For example, last year I had the privilege to be part of a very important trade mission to Africa, specifically to Morocco. Where is it? A city on the southern region of Morocco is considered Hollywood of Morocco, or Bollywood as well. Yet, it's very important to notice that according to the economic contribution of motion picture and television industry, we can notice that the film industry is one of the pivotal economic resources in the national economy and worldwide as well. For this being said, we can conclude that the film industry is the major sector employer, supporting 1.9 million jobs and 113 billion in total wage in 2013. Thus, this has a direct impact in nourishing small businesses, with $40 million in payments to more than 330,000 local businesses around the states. Yet, the film industry participates significantly to the overall economy with 130 billion sales in 2013, with an increase of 5%. From the trade market standpoint, we can witness that the film industry registered a positive balance in trade in nearly every country we mentioned earlier, with $15.8 billion in export in the globe. In 2013, the industry exported 6 times what it imported. The industry runs a trade surplus larger than each of the surpluses in the advertising, mining, telecommunication, management consulting, legal, computer, health-related and insurance services sectors.